The prayer today, the Lord speaks to us. Always pray to have eyes that see the best in people, a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. Amen. Linda, let's start us out.
On April 17th, I approved a supplemental appropriation from the Commissioners to the General Fund Miscellaneous Insurance Expense Account to cover an increase to the Corsa purchase order. I also approved a voucher for $295,143.67 from the Commissioners to Title Professional Group for the purchase of property located at 214 East Park Street, Chardon, Ohio, 44024. On April 21st, I approved and executed the agreement with the Geauga County Maple Festival for use of the southern end of the 100 Short Court Chardon parcel for food and other festival vendors and festival attendees during the Geauga County Maple Festival event during the period of April 20th through 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Item number 3, Corsa.
Just check the microphone to make sure it's on, just so.
Do a test on it.
There it is.
Thank you, Christy. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Just introduce yourselves and
Okay, we can do that. I'm Kathy Hostetler, your Human Resources Administrator, and this is Scott Landis. And he is our Corsa representative, our agent for our liability insurance. Sherry Babowski was supposed to be here as well. I know some of you know her. She's a great person, but she is really, really, really sick. So we talked with her on the phone briefly and hope she gets better, so she won't be joining us today. So Scott is going to talk a little bit about Corsa. I explained that Commissioner Brakey, you are new to this, so whatever information we can give you about for Corsa for sure, how it got started, and kind of what it is and where we are with this renewal. We're here to talk about that today.
Okay, first of all, Corsa stands for County Risk Sharing Authority. And currently there are 73 out of the 88 counties in Ohio belong to this organization because it's nonprofit. It's used to provide insurance at a better rate than you can get through a profitable insurance company where they got to pay shareholders and everything else. You've been in the Corsa program since May 1st of 1990. The Corsa program itself started in 1987. So you got in on the early end of it. So you've been with them for 35 years and it's been a good match, I believe, for Geauga County. This year's premiums overall, first of all, the whole program of all 73 counties, there was an overall increase of 12.07%. Geauga County, however, was less than that. Theirs was 10.94 because you not only had a better loss ratio than the average, less claims, but you also hit 100% of your credits, which Kathy coordinates for the county. So between credits and dividends that the company's paid, it reduces your overall cost. So that's why you're less than the average. And really, we have some statistics on the Corsa program itself. And the reason there's a 12% increase is almost 100% attributable to reinsurance. Insurance companies and organizations have to go out and buy reinsurance where, they might have enough funds to cover 5 million, but when you've got a 25 million exposure, you go out by reinsurance. It's like buying insurance on your insurance. That reinsurance from 2021, it was 4.7 million for the group. This Past year it was 11.7 million. That's how much it's gone up. So you're doing everything you can at this point to keep your rates down. We get reports on claims in a timely manner. And that's important because the sooner you act on a claim, the quicker you settle in it. It's usually for less money, which helps your program loss ratio. As far as some of the changes from last year, your property values went up about $12 million that we insure. Your payroll did go up, and you increased vehicles, I think 18 additional vehicles, including trailers from last year to this year. All those things go towards, the increase from the year before. Trying to think what else. Overall, over the last 3 years, Geauga County has a 37% loss ratio, which is well below the average. So if you stay online doing the things you are doing now, I anticipate any increases would be less than the average again. So at this point, any questions?
Can you talk about the member credits? I see in the invoice, there's a credit of about $62,000. So can you tell me how we get that credit?
Yes, that's a combination of dividends and what Kathy does as far as loss control. She runs a seminar. If you want to explain that part.
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, I do coordinate it, but it really is the directors, the managers, the supervisors, and the employees who they attend the course of human resources. They come to the defensive driving. They really, it's not even like pulling out teeth. I mean, they are there, they do it. The sheriff's department is outstanding in all that they do. So for, at the renewal time, we get our incentives for the year. And I kind of put them out there and people come and they, come to the seminars. We do a lot of training. And so I always want to get the maximum incentive.
And
So
she
we
does.
got 18,000 this year, which seems like a drop in the bucket when you're looking at the total, but it's something, I think that contributes. And then the rest is dividends. And I think we've gotten those pretty much about this much every year that I've been doing this job.
The total amount last year was almost identical as
Yeah.
far as your total.
Yeah. So while it has increased as everything has, I think, the county really, comes together, everybody working together to make it so we have that 37% loss ratio.
My other question was about the Corsa subsidized risk management services. So can you talk a little bit about these? And, it talks about things like jail body scanners, there's cybersecurity efforts. So how does this program work?
That area is what Sherry was going to talk about.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you did. But we can forward information through email on
Okay.
those specifics to you.
What I can tell you though is again, ADP takes advantage of any grants. Corsa offers grants. I know that the sheriff does that as well.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of what I was wondering, is
Mhm.
if we are communicating these to these departments and they aren't taking advantage.
Right, and they're not grants your typical grant, they're reimbursing. If we can say, hey, we spent, like ADP spent this much on like the and I'll never get this right, multi-authentication.
Multi-factor.
Multi-factor
Okay.
or whatever, but anyway, they submitted the invoice, of course, I reimbursed them for that. Very big on cybersecurity. They do whatever they can to make sure we're not getting ourselves into any problems. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
So where did you come up with the $12 million of increased property values?
Well, it has to do with both additional properties purchased or if there was a reevaluation in the replacement costs. That'll let 11.8 difference. If you want, we can shoot you how that is broken out if you'd like in an email.
So are you utilizing like what has happened in our county of, all these, larger number of valuations that are going on as far as,
Yeah, Corsa does a reevaluation every couple of years. I think your big one was done last year, so it'll be another one coming up either next year or the year after.
Mhm.
But they do take into account, especially when you're adding a new property, they get the most up-to-date replacement cost factors.
so what new properties did you add to that?
Again, we have a list of all the endorsements that went in.
The only reason I'm saying that is that, down at the State House, they're in the process of, possibly unraveling all, these, reappraisals that, were put in that have put properties at values that probably won't sell at that price. And some of these, exaggerated, costs, are we paying a premium on those, reflecting some of those costs, or are we truly looking at a real number?
There's a difference between market value, what you
Right.
sell at, and replacement value.
Right,
It's replacement values are going up because of the cost of materials, the shortage of supply. That's what's driving that replacement number up. We insure for replacement, not for market.
right, but I'm saying, so where did the 12 million come from? Because what other, can you get me a complete list of
I
what
can.
those are?
Yep. I sure can.
Yeah, if you could send us all three.
I will.
commissioners And administrator. Yeah.
Property value
Goody, homework.
increase. Okay. And just for the record, the amount of premium for that's about 22,000 for that additional over what it was last year. So we'll give you a breakout.
Okay,
Oh, I did have one more question. So I see the last page of our info in our board packet. It breaks up the, property, auto and so forth. And then there's like a public officials line item that's about $100,000. So could you, I assume that's some sort of liability assurance just for elected officials?
Yeah, it is the liability coverage for your public officials in Geauga County, which is yourselves
Yeah.
as well as the other professionals in the building if you get sued. So that's in there as well as judicial is part of that professional liability.
That's all I had.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will get those emails out to you by tomorrow for sure.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Four is related to,
You want to read number 4?
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board accept and approve the County Risk Sharing Authority Insurance Program renewal for the period of May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2026, and further authorize the payment of $532,136.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner Began.
Yes. Morning.
Morning.
I almost missed you, Shane.
You wouldn't miss me today, right?
No.
Shane Hajar with the Engineer's Office, here to present items 5 and 6. Item number 5, the County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute Resolution 25-072 to improve various sections of county roads by applying crack seal for the year 2025.
Do we know how, like, the cost for this?
We have a cost estimate worked up at $200,000, which is more than what we've been spending.
Yeah.
But the amount of crack seal needed this year after this past winter is
Yeah,
up.
I can believe it. I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner Began.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 6, the Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute Resolution 25-073 to order the asphalt resurfacing of Wilson Mills Road, County Highway 8, sections G through L in Munson Township. This resolution also requests the board approve and execute the title sheet of the specifications for the same. And further, the resolution sets the bid opening using Bid Express at the county engineer's office for Friday, May 23rd at 10:05 a.m. Notice of the bid opening will be advertised on May 1st and May 8th and on the county website.
I move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spitaler.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Elaine Malkamaki, Community and Economic Development. We have two items on the agenda today. Item number 7, Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and execute the 3-party contract between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners, Family and Community Services Incorporated, doing businesses as Chagrin Falls Park Community Center, and Country Roofing LLC for the Community Development Black Grant number BF 23-1AZ-1 Chagrin Falls Park Community Center Roof Replacement Project in the amount of $64,430.56.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spitaler.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
And item number 8 is Community and Economic Development is requesting the board to approve and execute the 3-party contract between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners, Maple Leaf Community Residences, and Lindsay Construction and Design Incorporated for the Community Development Black Grant number BF 23-1AZ-1 Maple Leaf Residence Roof and Window Replacement in the amount of $98,859.65. And the bid bond submitted shall be held to serve as the performance bond for this project.
I move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spitaler.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Everyone.
Morning.
Here to talk about item 9, which is a change order for the youth center and the contract with Then Design to change drawings for the new site location and also changing the heating source from electric to gas in the amount of just under $50,000. The original construction drawings had the building utilities be electric, and it was strongly recommended to me by some of our more construction-oriented experts in the county to switch that to gas.
Or just people that pay bills.
What's that?
Yeah, just people that pay bills.
Right.
To be an expert on that. Do we know for that 50,000 approximately how that breaks up as far as like the cost for the new site location versus changing to HVAC?
There's a breakdown on the contract maintenance form.
There was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I must have missed
Three or
that.
4 different
Okay.
items.
Oh, thank you. So is it under electrical? Is that what we're calling this? The change for the HVAC?
Yeah, probably
Probably.
it would involve probably a particular engineer. That's why it's
Yeah,
sectioned out.
because there's certain things that for new site location, and then it says electrical technology and architectural changes. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve number 9.
Second.
Commissioner Spitaler.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Yes.
And one of the other things just to discuss, and I can either do it now or wait till the end of the meeting, but
Go ahead.
and I know I really appreciate, and I'm very glad that Lauren and Nick are here. But because of their incredible expertise, but part of this project that wasn't fully in the scope of work when we changed the site location, because the initial site location, it was much easier to get the utilities to that site location as opposed to the new site location, which still is definitely preferable. Don't have to do a lot of moving as the dirt and things of that we had to do, but we will have to bring those utilities, many of them across the street, which I have come to learn very quickly that that's not cheap. And so in discussions with, because I know Commissioner Dvorak has been part of those, is that would improve all the lots that are across the street for future use. And I even know that the hospital has some land that's kind of beyond that over there. But those costs were not included in the scope of work when we moved from one site to the other. And so that is something that has come up and wanted to bring that up to the board today and have a discussion about that.
Well, when we moved from the site spot from the other site to move a lot of dirt, trees and everything else, by moving it to over here across the street from the library administration building, we saved $900,000.
Yes, sir.
And so to me, that's utilities that would enhance this complex of serving the community. And, I'm willing to, okay, just me personally, the utility work that we get what they need for the job site on our dime. So
So do we have an estimate for what that's gonna cost?
Less than 250
Sewer.
for the sewer.
Okay, and then what are we talking about for the line extension cost?
The water,
No, the electrical.
we don't know yet.
Okay.
We can't apply for that until we have an address for the property. We won't have an address for the property until the survey's done.
and the gas line is on the north side of Ravenwood, so it's
already on the
it's
property.
already there, so.
So we did have that estimate. We asked Nick to work up what it would take to get sewer and water over there. And he has said his department can do that, but obviously the general fund would pay him for that.
Yeah.
But we also have the grant at the state. And this current status of the grant right now is that we're waiting to hear back how long they will stretch that reimbursement over, since we are not allowed to place a lien on county property, which is what they normally do with this type of grant. They said they would put the funds in an escrow account and pay it back to the county over time. We just don't know how much time.
And what was the amount of the grant? Remind me.
$1 million.
Just 1 million. Okay.
That was the mental health grant.
So what are we looking right now? So it says a new contract amount of about $540,000. That's just for the architecture.
Architecture services, yes.
Okay. And then what are we looking at as far as like the total budget right now for this project?
6 million, not counting getting the utilities.
Utilities work.
Okay. And that sounds like that's going to be another $500,000.
Probably, well, you would know better than me how much electricity will cost, but for the sewer and water, we think no more than 250. Yes.
The water is just a service connection, so the facilities are there. That's the difference between site number 1 and site number 2. Site number 1, the sanitary was right there.
Right.
But we needed to extend the water.
Okay.
With this new location, the water's just across the street, but the sanitary needs to be extended. So.
Okay.
So even though the county might need to give the money in advance, it will be reimbursed over time.
The 1 million.
The one.
Correct,
Yeah. Not the 6 million.
correct. He's already got that.
Yeah.
6.5 or whatever million. Okay. Got it.
And that's something that will have to go out separate for separate bid.
The sewer and water,
Mhm.
Nick was gonna be in charge of that for us. That would be done under an MOU with the board.
Okay.
Is that it?
I believe so.
And we've have had meetings for 7 years over the new youth program house.
I'm sorry?
We've had meetings for over 7 years about the new youth home. Correct?
Yes, it's been a long time. Yes.
Okay. So
What were you
we're
talking
getting
about
closer.
spending 7 years ago when you first came up? Expected. The fact it wasn't 6 million.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Morning,
Morning.
Glenn Vernick from Geauga County Maintenance Department. This is a service contract that we want to get with Lala Masonry Concrete. This would be for a 1 year period. If we need any concrete or masonry work within any county buildings throughout the county, that we can get them on site and get a quote and move forward.
So we don't know necessarily where this is gonna pop up. We're just kind of, just in case. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll make,
And we have some areas that we have concern, so
Yeah.
we'll look at that and
okay,
go from there.
got it. I'll make a motion to approve, number 10.
Say,
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Coyle.
Yes.
Y'all have a good day.
Okay.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Nick Gorse, Water Resources. Item 11 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute a contract maintenance form number 1 with CUE Excavating. It does both revise the address for the contractor and increase our contracts on both the water and the wastewater for various locations to utilize CUE for work we can't do. So
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Coyle.
Yes.
item 12 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Jameson Well Drilling, perform well maintenance services as needed at various locations within the department. This is just on our water side, and the amount not to exceed $10,000.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Coyle.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner's office is requesting the board to schedule a meeting on Thursday, April 24th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m.
All right, I'll make a,
What is this in regards to?
This is in regard to completing the action for the airport.
Just don't we have agenda item number 14 for the airport?
Those are both for the airport. Number 13 is to schedule a meeting to complete everything.
Okay. So I'm just not
Number
clear.
14 is to put the money where it needs to be, so when you complete things on Thursday, we'll be ready to move forward. Do you want to explain it further, Adrian, what number 13 is about?
Right, so in order to, for Debbie to create an encumbrance and expenditure for Thursday, we need to have the cash in the fund. Otherwise, New World won't allow her to complete the process to get that done. So that's what, we were already gonna have to do a special financial later this week in order to pay the money out. So my understanding was there were gonna be some additional discussions and a need to actually schedule a meeting. So it was determined that we could just, in addition to that, do the financial piece on Thursday as well.
It's not something that we could do today.
It is possible to authorize the transfer of the $800,000. There might be additional actions that are required for that. And you could make a motion to do the contract or the encumbrance and expenditure as well today. But we're still gonna need to do a special financial in order to actually pay that. So we can't move the cash, create an encumbrance and expenditure, and then actually expend that money all in the same session. We can't do that. It's not possible to do that.
And that's not something that Linda can approve. Sign off on.
That was what the original plan was until, we were informed of the need to have a meeting, so of the potential of having a meeting.
Yeah, that's Thursday meeting is just for the details. But, you know,
And we were gonna incorporate the financial into that.
correct.
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion for 13.
So
second.
I'm confused because what are we meeting regarding? I understand what you're saying, but I guess I feel like we're putting the cart ahead of the horse. We have two other, we have another, item here on the agenda for number 14, but we're doing a meeting change or a meeting date.
I had nothing to do really with the thought pattern behind setting up the meeting for Thursday. I just said, if you're gonna do a meeting on Thursday, we could do the financials at the same time. That's all.
Right, so it just needs some clarity what exactly is going on because I'm totally lost in this. So are we looking to move here at number 14? I see that they've got an $800,000 to the airport construction fund for preparing funds towards the construction of the new T hangar, but yet we've got a meeting before this that we're rescheduling. I'm just confused what's going on here.
We thought that by now there was going to be an agreement that had been agreed to by the airport authority that you would then affirm today.
Okay,
That did not happen by my understanding. And that instead the airport authority and the commissioners were going to pivot in a different direction. And it's going to take us a day or so to pull the documentation for that together.
right, because this is news to me, so that's why I'm just trying to put this, the last that I understood is that Jim had stated last week that we were gonna have an agreement today, to move forward on. So
Well,
did that not happen?
that didn't work out. It just didn't work out.
I mean, we have a resolution, but the airport is not agreeing to it. That's my understanding.
Right. So they want to pivot and, turn this into a loan process. So if we do item 13 and 14, Thursdays for the details, and then, and that's it. But
And
they,
is this what you guys are understanding too?
This is all brand new to us. I mean, Chip has some airport authority. I mean, this all was transpired in the last few hours. I guess what is happening today and what is planned to happen on Thursday?
well, 13 is to have a meeting, another meeting.
All right.
And 14 is to put the money into the airport authority construction fund. And Thursday is to work out the details for either the resolution that, might not happen, or turn it to a loan. So the details will all be into the loan process. Same language, similar language to the loan that the commissioners gave you guys 3 years ago.
I mean, what Adrian just said though is that it all can't happen in one meeting. So something has to happen today to allow something to happen on Thursday. Is that what?
Correct.
Yeah, in order to do the rest of the actions this week, I need to have the money in the fund.
Today.
Correct.
To vote on today.
So yeah, that's why financials were held off until the end of all this.
All right.
Because the $800,000 transfer is in the financials.
Okay.
If that doesn't pass, then it has to be struck.
All right.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you, don't you think that it would make sense that if it doesn't pass, putting this after this to have a meeting? Because if we vote no on this and then we vote for a meeting, then we're gonna need to rescind that meeting.
We'd have to rescind one or the other, I guess. So,
So you want to do number 14 first? Is that what you're suggesting?
I mean, this is very, very, very concerning because why would we be scheduling a meeting for Thursday when we don't even know I have no idea what the details are about for this meeting Thursday. I thought we were discussing the airport and this project.
my understanding was that we've gone from making this a grant to the airport to being a loan. That's what I have heard. So we did not have the
When
time.
did this happen? I never
Like this morning. That's when I found
And
out.
the
so.
airport authority is willing to have a loan for the second building with the same terms we had for the first building, which was 1.5 in 20 years. That's what came about in the last few hours.
I would note though that interest rates, of course, have increased since 2021.
But why would we be charging interest on a building that's ours?
Well, you're already charging interest for the first one. You gave a loan for that and they are paying 1.5% interest to pay that back.
And they capture the revenue of the building.
Our understanding was that you were uncomfortable with the terms of the resolution that was created by the prosecutor's office and did not feel comfortable agreeing to those terms. And so then you did not approve the agreement that was given to you.
Well, there were two resolutions.
Yes.
And one of the resolutions is what we worked with Mr. Dvorak to come up with yesterday. And that was acceptable to the airport authority.
By my understanding, it was not acceptable to the prosecutor and he would not sign off on it.
And that's out of our control.
It's also.
I get that. So that's what prompted them moving to the loan option. So that we don't, if we don't get this done, as we've told 100 times, we lose FAA $585,000. And which is to benefit the Geauga County taxpayer. So that's why this all came about. But we're willing to work with the loan to be similar to what we did with the first building.
Unfortunately, do you mind if I express an opinion? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I thought the idea of doing the T hangar was for you guys to have revenue. But if you take this as a loan, you won't have revenue. You'll be paying it all back to pay the loan.
May I
Sure.
Go ahead.
What, can they state their names?
State your name, please.
We're recording.
We're Gilstrom Airport Authority. The purpose of, we realize that we've got lemons, so we're gonna make lemonade. And the loan action would allow us to have at 1.5%. We know it's below today's market rates, but we're accounting function borrowing money from accounting. So the 1.5 would allow us a little bit of room to finance maintenance. In other words, our rents would be up here, our costs would be down here, and that margin would allow us additional maintenance and improvement money that would make the airport work. If the interest rate is too high, then we're just paying off a loan and we have no cash flow, free cash flow flowing from that transaction.
We already have professional services investments since December 17th, when the commissioners voted to start this process. We put a lot of things in action to get us to this point. So we've expended between $40,000 and $50,000 on professional services. If we don't get this done, we lose that. And if we don't get this done this week, we lose the federal money. At the end of the day, it's something we've strived for, we'd like to do. And, like Greg just explained, we will have much less money for maintenance purposes, but we'll have a building that over 50 years will return to the county a considerable amount of money.
So let me ask you, what's the interest rate?
I was told this morning 2%, but I guess it's going to be 1.5%.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with 1.5%.
I'm certainly not. I mean, interest rates have increased a lot since 2021. And I mean, if we put this in a bond, we'd get a better interest rate than 1.5% to 2%.
So, well, part of what I said in January and February was like, this is Geauga County investing in Geauga County properties and buildings. So.
So if I could just ask you, so I'm just looking at an amortization schedule, like for 800,000 at 2%, your monthly payment is basically $4,047. So what are we looking at as far as collection on the hangar at full on a monthly basis? What are we looking at to be able to collect on a hangar? Like once the project is complete, what do you feel?
For the first year, we're going to be slightly in the black, but as we raise rates 4%, we would be improving that situation. Give me a second. We do have those numbers here. Got to find them.
Yeah, I mean, so I've got from this email that was sent after session last week that the first year rent revenue would be $48,787.
Right.
So I don't know what that ends up in a month, but we can figure it out.
At 20 years at 2%, that equals about 48,564. So in other words, you're by asking for a higher interest rate, you're effectively killing the deal. I mean, it's an effective way to kill it. So what we're looking for is a little bit of headroom with a lower interest rate that would allow free cash flow to allow us to do proper maintenance.
Right, because interest alone's over $8,000 a year.
So
At
there's interest
2%.
and principal, obviously, right?
Right, right.
So, again, 1.5, would allow us a lower monthly nut, if you would. And then we've got the rent on top of that. Again, that would allow us free cash flow. If you want to start us, then you make it 2% and.
Right,
But-
1.5 will put you a little bit over 6,200 in interest a year, but your payment is still going to be 3,860,
Correct.
Right.
you know?
So before session, I asked Adrian if the county was to borrow $800,000 over 20 years, what would our interest rate be? And so he looked it up and it would be about 5%, just to keep this in mind. So we could not, if the county wanted to borrow this money, we could not do it at 1.5% or 2%. We would be doing it at 5%.
We're not debating interest rates. We fully are capable of doing those numbers. Again, it's a county function borrowing money from a county to support the county's buildings. So to me, the interest rate discussion is kind of moot. This is not an investment decision. This is, do we support the airport or don't we?
Right, and I agree with you, and that's, I mean, we just finished up with the Jobs and Family Services for this project, for the youth home, that's filling just the infrastructure alone, that money. I understand we're going to have a $1 million grant coming through from the state, but that's not just for the infrastructure of putting sewer lines and water lines in. That was for the project. But that's where I'm struggling with this, because we're putting those dollars into a county function there to improve our youth home with no repayment specifically back on that. But yet, what do we do with the airport? Because, at the end of the day, when we made this decision back in December and prior to December, the money is available for us to improve our airport, so that was the whole auspice of us helping the airport, helping to improve our fairgrounds, to do things that affect our county and our county value and what we have here. I mean, that's what you guys understood too, correct?
Exactly right.
But I mean, comparing it to the youth center, that's a statutory function of government versus this project is, 8 private planes.
8 private planes that here's the difference though. The youth center truly is going, I understand the whole statutory side of it, but we also are going to have a lot of dollars that go into operating a youth center. In this scenario here, this is pretty much, once this is built, it's a revenue generator for the airport moving down the road. We've got 1 part-time employee at the airport and an entire board of volunteers. So when you look at the cost, cost analysis on what will it cost to run a youth center, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and what it costs us to have a guy park his plane in and get rent money every month, it's kind of a no-brainer. I struggle with this because I'm looking at this as if this was my business decision to do this all day long. It makes sense, and it gives us the improvement to our airport. Just I'm struggling to have to look at you guys and say we're giving you another loan. It's, we committed when we knew that our county, and Adrian, you're there, we're solid as a county to be able to afford to do this $8,000 transfer to the airport. Yes or no?
Yeah, 800,000. Yeah, there are sufficient funds that are in place to do this. So,
And the thing too,
depending on what you guys decide to do.
we had looked at this last year. We would have never taken this project on unless we would have dug deep into this to really, do a projection and on look forward to say, is this going to affect us? We did it with the airport. We did it with the fairgrounds.
I'd like to call the question regarding number 13. I believe we made a motion in a second.
Motion and second.
To schedule a special meeting on Thursday.
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler.
I'm gonna say no.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Now, number 14.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve an encumbrance and expenditure to the Geauga County Airport Authority in the amount of $800,000 from the Airport Construction Fund for contributing funds towards the construction of a new T-hangar at the Geauga County Airport.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it with the question. So is this that we're just going to make a transfer to the airport fund for $800,000?
Yes.
Yep.
This is just getting the money into the airport construction fund. So that on Thursday, whatever it is that is gonna be done, we can then pay the money to the airport. Whether it's a grant, whether it's a loan, whether it's whatever.
Okay, I'll second it.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
No.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Adrian Gordon with the Commissioner's Office, handling number 15 on the agenda, which is the financials for today. So included in the financials is a cash transfer from the general fund to Court Technology for a portion of their 2025 funding. From the general fund to community development, Metzenbaum and Board of Elections for the first quarter 2025 interest transfer. From the general fund to the Board of DD for gas well proceeds from January through March of 2025. And from the general fund to the airport construction fund in preparation for an expenditure for the construction of the new T-hangars. Among the encumbrances is a contract PO increase from the Commissioner's Office to Corsa for the 2025 property and liability insurance premium, which was up $61,212 from 2024. There are travel requests from the auditor to attend the TechCon 365, DataCon, and PWRCon conferences, from Emergency Services to attend the Davis-Besse Nuclear Power Station drill, and from Job and Family Services to attend the 12th Annual Trauma Informed Care Summit. And then and now from Emergency Services to the Geauga Credit Union for hotel reservations for the Davis-Besse Nuclear Power Plant Station drill that were not previously encumbered. And among the vouchers is $221,886 from the engineer's office to Valley Ford for two 2025 Freightliner 108 SD plus chassis highway vehicles.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
No.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is number 16, which is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve the 2026 tax budget hearing schedule, with hearings scheduled on May 6th of 2025, May 8th, May 13th, and May 20th.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, but, May 13th. May 13th, I am not gonna be available.
That's a Tuesday.
Yeah,
And we're supposed to start
I think-
at noon?
12:30.
Yeah.
12:30, okay.
So I think Commissioner Brackey and Commissioner Dvorak, both of you were gonna be here on the 13th.
Yeah, I'll be here for all of these.
Okay.
who do we have scheduled on the 13th?
Board of Elections prosecutor, mental health, public defender, veterans, recorder, and auditor / ADP.
Okay. I mean, unless there's a way that we could reschedule them to another day, I'd like to be there, but I already have a prior commitment that I'm out of town for.
It's very tight right now. Commissioner Dvorak is gonna be on vacation for about a week and a half in the middle of all this, so It was, and I can't wait until the last minute of last month, weekend or week of May. I just would not have enough time to get things prepared.
And Adrian, you'll be at all of these, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then which one was Commissioner DeBoer unable to attend?
May 8th and May 20th.
Okay.
So we need 2 commissioners at each one, minimum?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Well, we
Ralph,
should. I don't, it's considered is it considered a public meeting or just a hearing?
Is a public hearing?
Public, so yeah, we should have at least 2.
so Commissioner Spitarelli, you can go to the other ones except for the 13th, just to make sure we have
Yeah,
a
I'd
quorum.
be there for both of those, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So was there a motion?
Yep.
Yes, just not a second.
All right, I'll second now.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Number 17, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the request for partial payment number 19 for Infinity Construction Company Incorporated for the Geauga County Courthouse expansion, GMP Phase Number 1 and Phase 2 expenses in the amount of $890,605.10.
Did NV5 review this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Oh, sorry.
It's a lot of money. Just want to make sure we got lots of eyes on it. I'll make, go ahead. Second.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Great Geauga County Fair 2025 contract during the period August 28, 2025 through September 1st, 2025.
so moved.
Second. So is this where Destination Geauga sets up?
It
Yes,
has been up until now.
along with the county.
Okay. And then, so essentially, it seems like they basically give us for free, except we pay the insurance. Is that?
It's the bicentennial.
Oh,
That's what this is for.
okay.
This is just it's a formality type thing.
Okay.
We provide them with certificate of liability insurance. And then there's no cost to us to utilize the bicentennial building on the fairgrounds.
Okay, but so are we paying for are we giving them their certificate? Because it seems like they're charging us for the insurance here.
There's no charge for the insurance.
Okay, for
It's
sure.
on there, but we don't charge.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right, I'll call the question then.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Commissioner Brackey, I forgot to bring my phone. Do you mind being the timer today?
Oh, it'd be my
I'm
pleasure,
sorry.
Linda.
You
Can I
know how
just,
crazy it was back there this morning.
It
Can I
was-
just address the board real quick, board discussion before public comment?
Yep.
So this is in regards to the metal detector and the scanner. NV5 has asked me to just give you all a heads up. There is a body scanner, an X-ray scanner, as well as a metal detector that the sheriff's office has selected for the new courthouse.
It's not a body scanner. It's a baggage scanner.
Baggage scanner, sorry, yeah.
Different-
Well,
Different.
the metal detector, yeah. Sorry.
It's like going to the airport. And then
Sounds like a good
take your
thriller, though.
shoes off.
Yeah. I was kind of tasked with trying to get a contract together with the 2 companies that are providing these devices. The one for the metal detector, they do not sign contracts. So that was kind of a bummer. So
What do you mean they don't say?
It's a service contract and they don't do that because they don't actually come out and service it. I guess.
Oh, I
they
see.
sort of
So they just kind of
self-healing.
drop it off or whatever.
no, they do services, and that's the whole reason why both of these companies required a county service contract, because they're coming on county property. They could get injured doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they could damage county property. So it requires a service contract. So it was kind of a, what are we gonna do now kind of scenario. The other company that does the baggage scanner included terms and conditions with their quote or agreement that was like 3 pages, 3 columns, tiny print. terms and conditions, and I felt like that was just a landmine. Yeah, like months and months and months of negotiations. My suggestion to NV5 and Linda and Infinity was that Infinity take these on. We would be covered through our agreement with the construction management firm, and Infinity can negotiate terms with the suppliers of these two devices. There will be a slight increase in cost. I left a message for Jarrett Parker as to how much that might be. I haven't heard back prior to this moment. You do? Okay.
Yes. Because they are not a government, they do not qualify for state bid pricing, so it would be $8,000 more for those two devices. 5 for the baggage scanner and 3 for the metal detector. An increase in the cost.
I feel the total cost right now was like $53,000. So if you're talking like 62,000, I think really it would be worth it in order to keep the project kind of on target as far as timing and stuff, and also protect the county from any issues that we might have with either of those two firms, if in fact something were to happen that would normally be covered by our service contract that they can't participate in or refuse to participate in. So,
And isn't the lead time like 5 or 6 months to get this?
To get the baggage scanner
Baggage.
is 5 months,
So it's,
so they want to get it ordered.
okay.
so NV5 just wanted me to make you aware of that there will be, if you are amenable to doing that, there will be another change order coming through from Infinity to incorporate those two devices. So, okay. That's it. Thank you.
Anything else? Anything else, Kristen? Item number 19, public comment. You get 3 minutes. This is the first meeting you're given 3 minutes. Go ahead. State your name and where you live.
Geauga, League of Women Voters. I live in Chardon. I have questions about is the Thursday meeting going to be live streamed? Since I have only 3 minutes, I'll go on to my second question. Can I obtain a schedule of the meetings, the budget meetings that are coming up
Yes.
Yes.
from
Yes.
you, Adrian?
Yeah, I can give it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes on both.
Okay. Oh, and are the budget meetings going to be live streamed?
I do not believe so, no.
Okay.
But it's open to the public.
Correct, it is,
Right.
yes.
Next, comment.
Howard, South Russell. Why do we even talk about things like this? We did away with the dog pound. They make money for the county every year. The good people. The airport has done a good job over the years, and they should continue to do a good job. And the sheriff can take over the airport maybe like he was going to do the dog pound. Why are we even talking about this today? No answer, because you have no answer.
Thank you for your comment.
It's the beginning of the end.
Okay.
Are we gonna have an answer to the airport today?
Whatever was on the agenda, we took care of. Come back Thursday.
I will be here Thursday at 9:30.
I'll open the door for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, time to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.